Okay, so we're almost done with organizing, and I found a few other tips I wanted to give you guys. If you have a local grass-fed beef farmer in your area, see if they sell beef by the side. Last year we purchased a side of grass-fed, grass-finished beef for roughly $6 a pound. I can't tell you what a huge savings that is. We got ground beef, we have steaks, we have roasts. I mean, we have, it's not all in here right now, but we have a little bit of everything at Estile. In fact, just last week we enjoyed some really nice London broil on the grill, $6 a pound. So that has been not only a huge time saver, but a huge money saver as well. So some other ways that we've been able to save is, remember I was talking about beef broth. If you take all of your veggie scraps, like the ends of your onions, you had some of those grass-fed ribs, if you take rib bones, if you take bones from your roast, and you stuff them in a bag and put them in your chest freezer and label them, then when you run out of broth, which won't be anytime soon for us, you can pull this bag of scraps out, no need to thaw, just dump it directly into your stock pot with, in our case, with some soup bones, and let it simmer for about 24 to 48 hours. Strain it out, and you have some really, really delicious, very nutritious homemade broth. But if you want to freeze more than just recipe components, you can also freeze entire meals. In fact, it's a really good thing that I'm reorganizing this thing, because I completely forgot that I had shoved this casserole in here. But what I frequently do is I make twice the amount of food that we need for dinner, and then I freeze half of it. It helps if I remember that I do that. But looks like last month I froze half of a I doubled a recipe for a southwestern casserole and froze half. And then I wrote on the top, thaw and bake, and with instructions for what to do. So this is a huge time saver, and it's a huge money saver, because it keeps us from eating takeout or for running to the grocery store at the last minute when we think we have nothing to eat. So, all right, I'm going to wrap it up. Okay, so we're all done, and I have to say this looks much, much better. And as you can see, I've got my chicken and other meats and things like that. Oh, another tip for those of you who are busy, and if you don't want to freeze entire meals, you can also freeze cooked meat for yourself. So I found a really good deal on boneless, skinless chicken breasts, and I popped them in my oven for about 30-45 minutes, frozen, didn't even bother to thaw them, and just set the timer, check on them at 30 minutes, see if they're done. Once they were done, I pulled them out, let them cool a little bit, and then you can either use 2 forks, but I used my fingers. I just shredded them, measured them out into 1-cup portions, put them in individual baggies, and then labeled them and shoved them in my chest freezer. So anytime we have casseroles or soups or anything like that that calls for cooked chicken, I don't have to take the extra step during the 5 p.m. dinner rush when I'm frazzled and I'm busy and we're hungry, we just want to get dinner on the table. I've got my cooked chicken all ready to go. So, and as you can see, it is very full. I have a lot less space to stuff things in. And one last note regarding freezer organization. When we purchased our side of beef last year, I made a beef inventory sheet, and I listed out all the different steaks we have, all the different roasts we received, and then everything else, ribs, burgers, you get the gist. And then every single time I pull something out of the freezer, I make an X in the box. So all of the X's are the meat that we've used, and all of the blank spots are the meat that we still have. So at a glance, I can look and see what needs to be used and what I need to hold off on. So as you can see, we haven't used very many of our steaks, so I think it's time to slap some filet mignon on the menu.